We accept the challenge of providing dangerous, thought provoking, and sometimes controversial insights into life's most common topics.
I don't know why I packed the hollow points.
Did you just say hollow points?
Yeah. Probably should have brought a super soaker.
So today we're going to go over the difference or the nuances between two terms. And the reason why that becomes important in a male female dynamic is because for whatever reason, I've been involved in so many relationships where she's saying one thing and she's meaning the other. And we both have English as our native language, and it infuriates me. And so it is my belief and my experience that women talk from an emotional standpoint and want you to be able to interpret. And that can and does drive men crazy. Now, the practical application of this is when men and they basically lying by omission, right? So basically, I didn't lie to you, I just didn't tell you. And I've been in situations where I've been accused of such, and it's infuriated the lady that I was with. So I want to kind of unwrap that and talk about something that I heard recently that you provided. And so before we get into it, I'm going to play the tape or the recording of what this woman was explaining. And her name is That Black Girl Faye, I believe. And so if you look her up, it is DATBLKGIRLFAI. Once again, DATBLKGIRLFAI. And she's speaking about the difference between honesty and transparency in a relationship. After we play this, then I'll ask you how you interpret or agree or disagree with what she's saying. So let me play this recording real quick.
I don't like honesty. I like transparency. Let me explain the difference. Honesty is I ask you, hey, babe, who were you at dinner with?
Yeah.
And you tell me the truth. That means you're being honest.
Yeah.
Transparency is, hey, baby, I got dinner at 7 with James, Nathan, and his assistant, Sarah's going to be there.
And that's,
And that's transparency. So now, guess what? You were forthcoming.
Yep.
You told me what it was.
Yep.
And so now I trust it.
Okay. What say you to her difference between honesty and transparency?
When I listen to her speak, I think it's two different situations. So she's saying you're being honest when I ask you something versus you volunteering that information and giving me all the details up front, then I don't have to ask you. So when she's saying that she wants transparency instead of honesty, she don't like honesty. I think that's what she said. She like transparency. I think she shouldn't have said she don't like honesty because she do.
She do.
But she prefers transparent. Yeah. Yes, and both. Right. She wants both. You need both. But I think you're gonna get it. It's for women, and I'm probably jumping ahead, but for women,
no, you did.
I think because we want to know details up front. So when you just say, I'm running to the store, I think it's better. And men like to be simple. I'm running to the store, I'll be right back. I think women want to know, okay, well, what store are you going to? Well, what you going to get? And I think it's better for both if you just say, hey, I'm running to Target. I'm going to grab some milk, bread, whatever. And then, if she don't need anything, then it's okay. All right, see you when you get back. But I think we need details. We have to have details. And I think for a man, if you go ahead and give that information in the beginning, you probably won't get so many questions behind it. That's what I think about it.
So the issue is there's a danger in missing something. Let me explain. And this is why I absolutely vehemently disagree with everything you said, because too much information can create too much confusion. You have to, once you know your person or you know who you're fooling with, you have to selectively put in front of them what they can and cannot handle. And the last thing I want to do is make it feel like I have to explain every little thing to you. As an intelligent person, highly intelligent person, it comes off as condescending when I say, hey, I'm about to head out and go get some gas, but I'm going to the gas station. I'm going to go to the Shell station over here. And so I'll be driving by Taco Bell, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, Zaxby's, and Panera Bread. Would you want anything to eat? Like, that's just too much. When I have to talk to you like that, when I have to talk to you like that, see, but here's the issue. Where's the threshold? See, because let me give you a real example. I got to go to Kroger and get some bread and some eggs. Cool. Oh, you want anything? No, I'm good. Go to Kroger, get bread, eggs. While I'm there, I see when you come in a little paper in the thing, and it say they got meat on sale. I'm like, oh, let me check out these steaks. I go look at the steaks, but then I see some other meat and like, oh, I'm gonna grab this meat too. Get home, when I pull out the meat, it was like, oh, I didn't know you was getting meat too. Yeah, I didn't either. But you should have said something because, and it's like, damn, like, damn, like, damn, this is not a real argument. The store is still there and the meat is still there. So now I feel compelled to have to go back because I didn't express everything that could have happened possibly while I was in a grocery store.
So
You get what I'm saying?
I absolutely get what you're saying. I really, really do.
Okay.
And and I'm not saying that you're wrong to see it that way because I can see how that can be too much. But I think it depends. It does depend on the person that you're dealing with. You have to know your person. So if you know the person that you're in a relationship, well, I feel like the way that she explained it, she has to know that the person, maybe her previous relationships didn't have that trust. So she feels like you need to tell her everything, where you going or whatever. Or are you that dude that she can't trust? So she needs you to be very, very transparent with her. I don't think you should go into a relationship demanding to know everything from that person. I think it's something that's created on down the line. And I think it comes out of trust, of not trusting that person. It has to, because I get what you're saying. I don't want you to have to tell me your every move once you leave the house. Right. But
You got to find my friends on my life.
right. But I have been in situations where a conversation can come up and I may not even know that happened or that went down. I don't like to be what do you call it? Because I don't like to be my kids
Blindsided.
even know. Yeah, my kids even don't blindside me, right? So because you'll see another side of me because I feel like why you didn't tell me. I don't like for anybody to bring anything to me that I felt like you should have brought to me, and I already know about it. You know what I mean? So
How
it's
do
just
they
not
know
even
what should have been brought to you though? Like, okay, let me give you an
because
example.
again,
Okay.
you should know who you're dealing with. Like I used to tell my kids all the time. Then this is my kids, so I'm just saying, even out of a romantic relationship, even with any kind of relationship you have with a person, they should know you. So I'm gonna use my kids for an example. If you know you done messed up at school, and you know there's a chance that if the teacher don't reach me by phone, or and you know I might come up to their school, tell me. Don't come home and say, well, the teacher is being mean to me, or she just don't like me. And then I get to the school, or I get a phone call that for 3 days in a row, she didn't ask you to do this, this, and this, and you refused. You hadn't done it. You know, because now I'm gonna come into school. I'm gonna have a conference with the teacher to find out, well, my child is feeling his way and why. And then I find out that you've been up here throwing spitballs her way. So don't blindside me. Tell me if you're gonna tell me something that you feel like I should know, that you feel like I should know. I need you to tell me the whole thing. Don't just tell me some of it. Because, yeah. And if I'm in a relationship, and let's just say, okay, perfect example. Let's just say my husband goes to a bachelor party.
Yep.
Right? He goes to a bachelor party. He already knows that there are going to be strippers there.
He
And
assumes it probably might be. Okay, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure they talked about it. They talked about it. They already know. So
Okay.
I would rather for you to say, hey, babe, I'm going to my boy bachelor party.
Okay.
It's probably going to be some adult entertainment there. Just want to let you know. Because, it's social media and all this type of stuff.
Okay.
But I trust you. I trust you ain't going to do nothing that's going to embarrass both of us. Right? Instead of saying, hey, I'm finna go hang out with my boys for his, he getting married this weekend or whatever. We just going to go hang out. Okay. And then a video come out or a picture come out where somebody say, hey, don't you know they had all these strippers there and your husband, because I want to say, I already knew that. Yeah, and I'm fine with it. I don't want to be blind. Some people like, really? Well, I didn't know. And he didn't say that. But you knew that. So why did you feel the need not to tell me?
Here's the situation. Do he also have to tell you what he's drinking and how many drinks he's going to have?
No.
Okay. Either you trust it. This is me. This how I get down. Either I trust you or I don't. And you know, you heard me say this on a couple things. Either I trust you or I don't, but ain't no half-ass. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. I'm not going to split the line. I'm an all or nothing kind of person. And let me first defend the kids. Kids are stupid. So kids don't have the wherewithal to think 4 or 5 steps ahead that this could possibly have a bad outcome. But as a person in a relationship, an adult relationship, a sexual relationship, you do know when you're trying to get over or you're trying to protect someone from their feelings. And so let me give you, your husband, let's say this. I don't know if your husband fishes or not, so I'm going to make up a story because this is not a real story, people. This is not a real story. Her anger is going to be displaced, and I'm not getting this man in trouble at home. But he fishes. And so he go fishing with his man Randy and Todd all the time. All of a sudden, Todd get a young little tenderoni that he's dealing with, and she want to go fishing too, and dudes be soft with the cute ones, right? So a dude will fuck up the whole trip trying to bring his girlfriend or his side piece on the, you know what I'm saying, in the midst. So let's say all three of them married. All of a sudden, they show up on the boat, and Todd got his side piece. I'd be damned if your husband, he should not. I'm telling y'all this now. Do not call your wife and tell on Todd. Don't do that. Now, if a picture happens to emerge and it's you, Randy, and Todd's side piece on this boat, that's Todd business. That's between Todd and Cheryl, Todd's wife. That ain't had nothing to do with us. You don't take responsibility for that, but you're telling me he need to let you know, hey, I know I said it was going to be me, Randy, and Todd, but for whatever reason, Todd is here now with his side piece. What should I do?
Well, no, nobody didn't. No, first of all, he shouldn't ask what he should do.
What?
And no, because I feel like if you have that close enough relationship with your spouse, y'all are something like good friends, and y'all should talk about everything without spilling the beans to nobody else. So I feel like you should be like, hey, this is what's going on. Just want to let you know if you've seen the picture flow. And that's it. Because whatever your husband tells you doesn't mean that you go off and tell that person's spouse or whatever, because it's supposed to be like a best friend relationship. Y'all should be able to tell each other things and keep it between each other. So I wouldn't say, he shouldn't say, what should I do? Or do I need to come home? Because if that's his friend and that's how his friend get down, then I trust that my husband ain't getting down that way. I'm not going to go look for anything, but I feel like you should let me know.
Why? Let me tell you this. Let me tell you why.
Because if you keep that from me, then I'm gonna think that okay, you're doing the same thing and your partner is keeping it. You know, but if you tell me, then I feel like, well, I trust you, but don't hide nothing from me. You shouldn't have to hide anything from me.
You're not gonna think or do anything. Me and Todd don't plan on getting caught. Nobody does things to get caught. Here's the situation. I'm gonna tell you how I'm not gonna say a real woman. I'm going to tell you how normal women operate. I come home, I'm going to put me in the situation. I'm not your husband. I'm me. My boy Todd and my boy Randy, and Todd got a side piece. I'm around Todd, and Todd bring his side piece. First, I'm be like, why you do that? We still going because I done spent this gas money, and I just said I was going to do it. So we go, and Todd's side piece is giggling and all that, and we done, and they do what they do, okay? The reason why I'm not saying nothing about Todd and his side piece is because now I can't go nowhere else with just Todd. Okay. Todd is ruining me and his friendship with this debauchery. She trusts me not to do nothing. So as long as I'm not doing nothing, Todd can't control a grown man. Todd not going to put me in a situation where I'm messing up my shit like he messed up his shit. But I know if I tell my old lady that Todd keep bringing this young hoe to stuff every now and then, every time I mention Todd's name, she like, oh, he ain't no good. He ain't looking good. And you need to stop hanging around Todd. Todd has ruined me and his friendship because he's trying to get some trim. Do you disagree with that?
I do.
Okay. So how do you see this going? I tell my old lady, now we talk about me and my old lady. I tell my old lady, hey, Todd bringing his hoe around on stuff every now and again. And she's like, whew, I'm glad you told me. And then 2 days later, I'm like, hey, me and Todd about to go just have drinks. She not gonna say just you and Todd. That shit ain't gonna start.
It may start with some women, but some women I don't think so. Because I'm not gonna say any names.
Okay.
Any names, but I can say that I've been in situations like that before,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we both have had, on either side without saying too much. But
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, okay, I don't say anything, and I've never said, well, you can't be cool with that person no more because of
Okay.
what they doing in their personal life. I don't give a
Okay.
damn. Just don't disrespect me.
Okay.
That's on him. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So it ain't
Okay.
got nothing to do with me. I've been there. That's why I can't say that I would act that way because I don't.
So you was mature enough to not even go to the level of why are you entertaining this? See, a lot of
Mm-mm.
women, some women,
Because
ooh,
how is he entertaining in it? I mean,
because he's around
that,
Todd and his horror. I'm gonna do
and
this like I'm a
okay,
woman
but
and his horror a lot, and he's not checking
Todd brought his chick, his
Mm-hmm.
side chick. That has nothing to do with my husband and his
Okay.
relationship with his friend. Because
Okay.
he's there to meet up with his friend, to have a couple
Mm-hmm.
of drinks. He
Mm-hmm.
brought it. If he feels like, hey man, don't be bringing her because I thought we were gonna hang out. That's
Mm-hmm.
something he needs to say to Todd. Ain't nothing I need to say to Todd, and I don't need to tell him to say to
Mm-hmm.
Todd. Like
Okay.
he'll get tired of it. That's not the type of relationship that he looking for with him and his friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like dude, okay, maybe you using me to get away from the house. I don't know what it is, but damn, I thought we was gonna have drinks. I mean, something's gonna give,
Right.
but I don't got anything to do with it because they have a friendship, and they friendship don't revolve around this chick. And I'm pretty
Right.
sure she ain't gonna be the first or the last chick that Todd got. It ain't
Right.
gonna, so yeah, I've been there, done that, and it doesn't bother me. But what I do want to know is, like, I know about it. I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask you about all your friends and what they doing on the side. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
If it happens to come up, or if I see something and be
Mm-hmm.
like, well, dang, so shit, that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell him no. Well, you can't hang around him no more because I trust you to make the right decision. And if you let him influence you, then shit, I can't be with you anyway because you
Right.
let another man get in your head.
Right.
What the hell? So
Right.
yeah, I don't think that should influence. It shouldn't change the person that you with. I just would like to know ahead of time, just in case.
Just in case what?
Just in case my auntie or somebody, let's say my husband Todd and his
Mm-hmm.
side chick
Mm-hmm.
is at the bar,
Yep.
and Todd gets up and go get a drink. I'm not a drink, or go to the bathroom, and now it's you and her sitting there,
Correct.
and y'all just continue the conversation till Todd come back, and
Right.
then there's somebody that I know or that know us walk up, or may walk by or anything, and be like, "Damn, Chris at the bar with this
Right.
woman."
Right.
I don't need nobody coming to me talking about some ooh this. I would shut them down to mute. No, I already knew he was out with a friend, so there must have been somebody that his friend knew. Like, don't bring me this shit because I already know. But I don't want to be in a situation where somebody say, well, yeah, he was sitting at the bar, and then I ask you, and you say, oh yeah, Todd had brought his friend with him, and Todd went to the bathroom, and now I'm looking at you like, do I even freaking believe you with this right now?
Wait a second.
Because
though.
why
Hold
didn't you
on,
tell me?
hold
Why didn't
on.
you tell me
Let's take Todd out.
beforehand?
Let's take Todd out the equation. Okay. You and I are we consider ourselves. I'm gonna talk for you, so forgive me in this. I consider us to be attractive people. There may be a time where you just need to go get a drink. Let's say your husband is taking care of his somebody in his family, an elderly person or whatever, and he had to go to Ohio for something. And it's been a couple of days, and you're like, I need to get out the house, and you want to go just have a drink. Or just go to a restaurant, to a spot, and just sit at a bar. We're not gonna keep putting you at a bar every episode, but we got you at a bar. And a guy comes and has a conversation with you. Now his auntie happens to walk in and see a guy having a conversation with you. You're not allowed to talk to adults without your husband knowing? Because what you're saying is he's having a conversation with a woman that your auntie don't know. Then she's going to come back and say, I seen your husband having a conversation with a woman I don't know. And he should have told you that he had a conversation with a woman. Leave Todd out of it for a second. Any conversation he has with a grown woman, he got to come back and check in with you? Because that's what you just said. Just in case auntie come and say something.
I think the setting It's where they are.
Are you
I mean,
kidding me?
I don't need to know if you're in the grocery store, if you're at work,
Okay.
nothing like that. I'm just saying if you are going out
Okay.
without me,
Yes.
and there's a possibility that you say, hey, I'm finna go hang out with the fellas. 9 times out of 10, I know who the fellas are,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And if something changes where it's not fellas there and
Yes.
it's some women and I'm
Yeah.
not there,
Yes.
you don't have to stop what you're doing and call me and tell
Okay.
me that. But when you come home, because I'm always gonna ask, did you have a good time?
Yeah.
How was everybody good? And you fail to mention that, it was, I was there and they brought these women with them. Why would you fail to mention that?
Okay. I know this for a fact, and I'm not. So when your husband hears this, I hope he's smart enough to not be surprised. You have been somewhere. I don't give a damn if it was the laundromat, the grocery store, the gas station, and a dude has approached you and tried to holler at you. I hope to God every time that happens, you don't come home and report that to your husband. Something like our co-host says, that should have never made it to me. I would be exhausted if my wife told me every time a dude tried to holler. Okay,
That's
so wait a
different.
second.
That's somebody
Now-
trying to holler that you can't control. You went
Thank
through
you.
a situation that you expected to be this way, or you knew it was going to be these people there.
Let's do it like
And-
this. Let's do it like this. I'm gonna do you one better. It's him and Randy, and they meet up to have a couple drinks. They having a couple drinks, and Randy is a neurosurgeon. Randy get paged, and he like, oh, cause I got a dip. I got my patient. I got something with the hospital. Your husband halfway through his drink, he like, okay, cool. I'm gonna finish this quarter of the game, and then I'm a dip. Randy's gone. A chick come and sit close to your husband and has and starts a conversation. Now, let's say he shut that conversation down within 2 or 3 minutes, or he keep it real germane. He keep it real vanilla, right? But somebody happens to see that moment. Then he has to tell you, Randy got called into the hospital, and in the third quarter, a chick came and sat 2 seats away from me and asked me 3 questions. Or does he have to discern that this is not value add to the confusion that could come up in this woman's head? This shouldn't even make it to you.
It shouldn't, but what I'm going to say is because what will happen is in your mind, because y'all are so simple and y'all just don't think like we do. So, and I don't mean simple like stupid, nothing like that. But y'all like to keep things short and simple, right? So you want to come home and say, you went out, you don't say anything. How was your drink? Everything was cool, and you're done because y'all don't talk a lot, right? But if it happens where, somebody comes and be like, well, yeah, I saw your husband sitting at the bar alone, and then in a woman's mind, alone, well, he said he was gonna be there with his friends.
Man.
Okay, and I'm just trying to tell you. So why wouldn't you come home and say, if she asks, let's just say she asks, so you have a good time? Man, he got that call, he had to leave, so I just stayed there and finished up my drink.
But you did have a good time. Why don't you just ask the question? Why don't you answer the question that's asked? The question was, did you have a good time? Yes, he had a good time. He don't have to say, yes, I had a good time while Randy was there, but then Randy left. And like you asking for a whole lot of
You don't have
dialogue.
to say, but I'm telling you, this is what's probably gonna happen. So I say you had a good time, and then you be like, yeah, I had a great time, and you leave it like that. Okay,
Yes.
she leave it like that. Then somebody come along and say, yeah, I saw your husband sitting at the bar, by himself or with this woman. In her mind is, I had a good time, and he was sitting with a woman. Then when she asks, then you're gonna be like, oh yeah, he had to leave. So okay, so who were you sitting at the bar with? I'm just
It would
telling
be
you how it would
exhausting.
go.
I'm telling you, but it would be
It would,
exhausting
but-
for me to arm you to battle these hoes that's messy. Because what's going on is you got messy hoes that say they love you, but they really just being messy in our shit. And they coming with a little bit of nothing and trying to make it into something. That shit, I have no idea what that woman's name was. I didn't know what her eye color was. She said a couple things to me. I told her the peanuts is right there, and and they don't have Dos Equis.
But explain to me how transparency at your job is so needed, but not in your relationship.
Because transparency at your job allows for future moves to be made, understanding the trajectory of your career and a place that you're going to be the majority of your life. Transparency every time I walk out the house, every time I'm out of your sight, is a totally exhausting and different thing because there's so many more variables outside of this world. Jobs come with HR policies and different things that create a structure or a platform to where there should be a system in place. This world does not work like that. I done had so many women ask me to get stuff off the top shelf. And if I came home and told my wife every time, and it could be an old busted woman, it could be a young BBL, it could be a short gay dude. I'm not coming home and saying, oh, it's just a conversation I don't even want to have. This is a non-value add. So in the idea of being honest, if she say, hey, I had a premonition. I had a dream last night that a short gay dude said something to you at Kroger. And I'd be like, you know what? That did happen. She was like, you lying. It did. She was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that. Because she either trusts me or she don't. But the idea of, I can tell you this, if you start getting too communicative with your mate, less trust seems to be involved in those relationships, because what happens is you become accustomed to that. And then when you around her mama, her aunties, her sisters, you giving her all the information and they saying, damn, he telling her a lot. Like, hey, babe, I'm about to go to the store. It'll probably be 15 minutes, but I'm going straight there. I'll be straight back. They like, damn, this nigga giving her. What has happened here to where he feels like this is a requirement? Or if he be like, hey, I'm leaving. I'll be back when I'll be back. And you're like, all right, then. That to me is a more powerful that's a more powerful relationship than him having to give you a rundown, an itinerary of what's going on, just in case some hoe come and start questioning you about your man. Tell me where I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. You know what you're saying. I understand. I get it. It's valid.
Okay.
But that's how you think, and that's probably how most men think.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand how women think as well. And we got to find somewhere in the middle to make it work.
Let me explain why. Let me explain why I don't agree with that vehemently. It's because now we're going to make it on the other foot. And now it's the woman have to explain everything to a man. So she goes out and dudes hit on women all the time. So every dude that comes and hits on her, she got to keep account of, and then come back and say, 6 dudes tried to talk to me. One was there for a little while. One of them actually put his hand on my shoulder, blah, blah, blah. Now when that comes out, he's controlling. He's domineering.
That's not what what we're asking you all to do. I don't want to care who said you look nice in your gray sweatpants.
Okay.
I don't want to hear that your haircut or your that your goatee was lined up nice. That's we don't want those details.
Okay.
Just, if like what she was saying, if you said, and that was just her example, if you're saying, hey, I'm going out to dinner, and then you're being transparent, hey, I'm going out to dinner with such, and such.
Once again, that such and such and such is beyond your control. That's beyond who they invite has nothing to do with me. I'm going with Randy and Todd. If Randy and Todd invited 30 people, me trying to give you a chronicle of who all gonna be there, or if you even asking who all gonna be there, it ain't even worth it. It's not worth it. Either I'm going out or I'm not. Either I'm coming back to you or I'm not. Either it's gonna be in the time frame, because I think the impression of impropriety kind of creeps in and it's cancerous. It eats away at relationships. So I've not had relationships where chicks is checking my phone and checking my this and need my passwords to everything. And we got to have access to my credit card statements and all. When you start living like that, it's exhausting emotionally and spiritually, because especially if it's not this dude's crime, if you punishing a dude for what happened in a previous, because a lot of women bring that into new things and thinking that they proofing the relationship by making sure they keep tabs. But the more you do that, if you're looking for something long enough, you're going to find it. And that's that's the situation.
And I think that's where it's coming from. I think that's where it's coming from with her. It has to be something in the past, something that she's trying to prevent, because you can't say you don't need honesty. You want transparency. I mean, it has to be both. And I agree. I'm not that person. I don't like to be blindsided, but I don't go looking for things either. I have learned my lesson with that. Whatever happened.
What?
Oh yeah, I learned my lesson with that. My
story?
children dad taught me well with that. So
Can you share one slight story?
I
mild?
can,
Okay.
and I know everyone listening. Just
Okay.
remember, this was many years ago when I
Okay.
was young and
Okay.
just
Okay.
blinded with this foolish love. But he cheated on me like several times throughout our 6-year
Allegedly.
relationship.
Allegedly.
No, this one right here I'm about to tell you. Oh yeah.
Okay, damn. I tried to keep up, brother. I tried to keep up. Go
So,
ahead.
and I'm pretty sure most people have done this, going through phones.
Mm-hmm.
So he leaves his phone and I pick it up and I'm like, I'm just gonna see, I'm going through text messages and I'm reading messages back and forth. And I'm like, the hell? So I know I ain't got that much time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm finna this number right here and you've been calling it. I'm finna write this number down, I'm finna put this number on my phone. I'm gonna call it. Cause when and whatever. So, and it had been happening for for some time when I'm going back through the phone. So then I act like I ain't been through the phone or whatever, and I'm boiling mad because I can't say nothing right then and there. So I'm trying to cover up. I'm having an attitude and everything. And let me see. He's supposed to have been going somewhere, hanging out in some apartments, but not the ones that we stayed in, right? So I go so crazy of me. But I go, he called me and he told me he was hanging out at one of his cousin's places or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I said, at these apartments, you over there? He was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go over there and I ride through the apartments, y'all. And you talking about riding through the apartments? Now, he's so stupid because he had just got off work, right? So he's so stupid, he got his badge hanging up in the car. I kid y'all not. I rode through maybe 2 sets of buildings and found the car.
Okay.
I don't know what took me, and I dislike when people blame ignorant stuff on God. So I'm not going to say God just took me straight to this car. But I found this car. I saw his badge hanging up in it. And I said, this is in this car. And it came back to me because, no. Let me take it back. My sister told me he picked up my baby from my aunt's house in this particular car. So that's how come I ended up finding it. I found the car. It didn't take me long to find the car. So I knew what car I was looking for. And I saw his badge hanging up in it. And I saw,
Wait a second. It wasn't his car? It was a different car?
No, it wasn't his car. No, he didn't have a car. So don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that.
Okay.
So I saw his work badge hanging up in the car and everything, and I said, "This is the car." And it had girly stuff on the tag and I said, So I called the number, and she answered the phone.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, this is, his baby mama, and blah, blah. And she was an older woman.
Oh, okay.
She was an older woman.
Okay.
And she told baby, when she called me, baby, I don't know what you want from me. She was like, I don't know what you want from me. She said, but yes, he is over here in my place. She said, I picked him up from work. And she just started telling me like all
Everything.
My heart, not like what they were doing, but how long they have been doing this. And, she was just like, I know about you and I know y'all got a kid together. She told me, she said, I don't want him. And when I say my heart was in my throat, I could barely swallow. And it was just like,
Were you
I
more
didn't know how
angry
to
or
feel.
sad at this point? Like, because I know at some point sadness kicks in and disappointment.
I was so sad.
Okay.
Because I didn't know my position at that time.
Yes.
Damn it. Do I be mad at him?
Yes.
I don't know to be mad. And then she told me she didn't want him. But you do, but you got him, but you really don't want him. Because, I just have my fun and send him back to you. So it's like, she don't really want him. And I wanted to be mad enough so I can say, so I can say, you can have him. I wanted to say that, well, you can have this already. But she told me she didn't really want him. So it was like, oh my God. So from that point on, I said, I'm not gonna go looking for shit because it's gonna reveal itself to me in time. Because
Mm-hmm.
I hurt my own feelings with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was mad at me for going through his phone. So now now he's mad because you done been through my phone, blah, blah, blah. He mad because I'm pretty sure she done told him, you know, yeah, your baby mama called my phone and blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
this. So it was just like, girl. So of course, you know, I thought I was doing something. You can get mad, you can't say here, put him out or whatever. Eventually end up taking him back. That's the short, you know, but I
Mm-hmm.
learned, like the older people say, whatever's done in the dark, it's gonna come to the light. Don't go looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Would there have been something short with him and her? Maybe it wouldn't even last long. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it would have came back. I would have never known about it. Did I need to know about it? What difference do it make? Because I stayed with him after that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In that little period that we argued with each other, I put him out. I moved back home because I couldn't, you know, pay the stuff on my own. All of that because I went looking for something to prove what point though. I didn't prove a point. I went back. It was stupid. So when I met my husband before he was my husband and we talked to each other and one thing that we both agreed that we were going to trust each other and we don't go through phones. I've never went through his phone. He's never went through my phone. His phone can be ringing next to me. I won't even look over to see who's calling. I don't give a damn. You know, and sometimes my phone can be ringing. I have different ringtones for my sister and my kids, you know, just so I know. And I'll be like, hey, answer that because it can be sitting right next to him. He won't answer it. And sometimes I'll be like, why you didn't pick it up? Because now they're going to call your phone, you know. So we've been doing that for so long. We don't go through each other's phone. It's a trust. Yes, I still do have that. I don't like to be blindsided by things, but I think he knows me enough to know, and he should know me enough to know what to bring to me to keep me from being blindsided. I don't need to know. I don't need to know what you ate for lunch. I don't want to know that you took what I made you for lunch, but you ate something else. You went to Wendy's and ate something else. I don't give a damn. I don't need to know nothing like that. You know, so I think he should know what I need to know about. And the same thing for my kids. Like, I don't need to know everything y'all doing, but I need to know what you know that I'll be blindsided and be mad about if I didn't know ahead of time. So I think in most relationships, when like what she's speaking to, it's coming from a place of being hurt. She said she doesn't need trust, but I don't think she trusts herself, and she don't trust anybody else. So you have to have trust. Well, answer this for me. I know you have to have both, but which one comes before and which one trumps the other? Because I would say you need to have trust before transparency, right? That's what I think. So you got to have that first.
I don't need transparency.
Okay.
And the reason why is because and it's not a self-defense or defense mechanism that I might find something that I don't want to know about. It's a situation where either we doing this or we ain't. And if you say we are, then until you prove me wrong, then we're doing it. The issue comes about when I'm feeling insecure and I'm looking for validation that I don't deserve you or that I don't deserve this because of previous relationships. And then I'm finding inconsistencies or inadequacies in your get down. And that is very, very dangerous. It's very, very sad. It's a situation where a lot of people are architects of their own misery in the fact that you putting so much pressure on being perfect or having to explain it to the community. Your relationship is not a community project. So any idea of whatever the hell the community's talking about, I could give a damn the darn. And I think my guys that know me know, but dudes ain't as messy as that. They don't feel like they need to save your relationship. So, I mean, my best friend can see my wife out hugging somebody. And he could be like, oh, I'm assuming he approved that hug. I was like, I'm
That's the
assuming this dude
difference
approved that
between
hug.
men and women. That's the
Right.
difference. Because a woman can see somebody, husband hugging somebody, and it's like, I wonder, do she know that person? And who is he hugging?
Man, ain't that
So that's the difference, though.
the tough part about that is you're taking a sample size or a small snippet of what you see and you're trying to paint a bigger picture and you letting your emotions run wild and your imagination run wild. And that's why it becomes an issue. That's why it becomes something stronger than it needs to be, because now you're in a point where, once again, you're defending something that doesn't need to be defended because it wasn't that big a deal to the other person. It just wasn't. It wasn't. That was, I don't even remember seeing that chick, or I don't know what you. And sometimes that's the case where so many guys, and I'm gonna keep going back to this. So many guys have come and tried to holler at you or said something to you that you don't even remember. You don't even remember these moments. And so somebody has invested so much energy and time and thought into something that was a throwaway for you. Let's just keep it real. You could have cared less about this. And when you have that type of confusion being perpetuated on your relationship, it's saddening, because you're thinking, I should have gained the benefit of the doubt. And so when we talk about the trust and transparency part, the trust is earned and it's re-earned and is reinforced and redesigned over and over and over again until it's broken. Because here's the deal. I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason not to. And then, unfortunately, trust is like a grade point average. You making all A's, that 4.0 is great. Once you make a C, it's damn near impossible mathematically to get back to a 4.0. You know what I'm saying? You're not in school that long. You're not in school long enough to recover from a C. And so if trust is a 4.0, once it's broken, you never have that degree of trust before. But I can tell you this, based on Black and brown relationships of a certain age, you never even started at a 4.0. And it's sad but true. It's never. People are so guarded and so jaded as to, I'm not going to give my all to this just in case it don't work out, just in case he plays me for the fool, just in case I am wrong about what I'm feeling. And so I'm not going to sew in or go overboard in all these things. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. Them's the breaks, right? It's not that I don't love you or I don't want to be with you or whatever the case may be, but I got to leave a little bit for me. I got to kind of hold off and reserve. And some of the omission is part of that. Some of you moving in silence and doing you is part of that, as long as you're not doing wrong. Because what you don't want to do is tap into something that reminds her of an insecurity that she had you were unaware of. So all of a sudden, the car break down and he get a ride home from a coworker and it's a chick. And you like, why didn't you call me to come get you? Because she lives this way, she said. She seen in my car when working, my hood was up and was like, oh, okay, which way do you go? Then, I told her, I live this way. I live, I go down this road to get to my crib. Oh, okay, I go right down that road too. He has no idea where she lives. He has no, just, she works with him, so he trusted her to get him to home so you wouldn't have to come out the house. This is not that big a deal by itself. It's when other people start adding ingredients to it that it gets spicy. You feel? And so that's the thing.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Now, what if this person is someone that okay. So I don't know who, let's say, I forgot how you put it. So let's just say that he gets a ride from somebody that he works with, that this person, the woman knows this person, can't stand this person. It's bad blood between them. Should he have not said, hey, I'm going to catch a ride home with this person, just wanted you to know? Or just let her find out whenever she find out.
Man, I think it's funny because I know some stories and that's a judgment call. But I think the moral of the story is, if you go off and he say, I've had enough of this. Okay. Let's think about this. You don't fuck with this chick that he worked with. He know y'all don't, rock or whatever, but he done had a long fucking day at work. The truck ain't starting. The hood is up. And he like, I'll just deal with this shit tomorrow. I'm not going to call her because it's 11 o'clock. She done got her bath and she in the bed. Oh, girl saying she going that way. I'm going to get a ride with old girl. Now, he shouldn't have to feel like I'm just going to suffer the consequences of trying to be considerate to my wife. He should feel like I just got to get home and then we'll worry about this tomorrow. He come in and he talking about his truck going to need to be repaired and some money going to be spent and all this. And you talking about he was in this whole passenger seat. What the fuck is we doing? Now let's go ahead and expand this and play it out. You get on him. I told you he had a stressful day. I don't know if it's been a stressful week or a stressful month. What I do know it's been a stressful day and the truck done broke. What I do know is the last thing he need is more stress. So if you get on him about the ride in which he chose instead of Ubering or whatever the case may be, and he like, I can't do this. That's the breaking point. I know you real big on what else was going on and what else happened. But let's just say little things here and there was going on. But this is the breaking point. And he says, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Was it worth it to you, the woman? To the woman, was it worth it on that bullshit?
No, it's not worth it.
It's not. It's not.
I think
I mean,
you're missing.
there's no way
I think
you
you're
can-
missing. You're missing something. You're missing
Okay.
something. So you said as soon when he gets home,
Yeah.
that's when all of that takes place. No, what I'm saying is when he gets home and does not mention that, and then later, which I'm
feeling
saying
you.
maybe
Okay.
a week
Okay.
later,
Okay.
you find out it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so why you didn't tell me that when you come home?
Totally
I think that
understand that.
that's my
That's
blind
different.
side. That's what I mean by
I
blind
get
side.
you.
It's
I
not,
get you.
yeah, it's saying it then. It's not
But keep it
mentioning
real
it
though.
weeks
Keep it
later.
real. You still fire hot that your rival done rode your husband home in her passenger seat.
I am gonna be for hot weeks
Even if he tell
later.
you that night. Even if he tell you that night, you like, no, you call me, wake me up. I want to come out in the body.
Yeah, I would have said that. Yeah, it ain't, and we not gonna. I ain't gonna let him call quits that night because of that. No, but I'm gonna be like, really, you can call me? So yeah, I'm gonna be mad, but I think I would be mad, but I think I would be 10 times madder 2 weeks later,
I agree with
and
that.
it's
That's
brought up
100%.
from somebody else and
In
seeing
passing,
you,
yeah, or
and
something like you act
or,
like,
and
yeah,
you could have
yeah,
just told me. You
yeah,
could have just
yeah.
told me
I agree
then.
with that. I agree
And
with
I
that.
think, yeah, and I think sometimes guys just do because they think I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want to hear that shit, and then
Yep.
hoping that it'll never be brought up again. But it
Yep.
will. I mean, it just sometimes it just comes up, and now you looking like, well, I ain't think it was a big deal. Then now, what I really hate too
Mhm.
is when something like that happens, and you're upset, and then
Mhm.
somebody try to downplay why you upset. Well, that was 2
Mhm.
weeks ago, so why you mad? What the hell? So
Bringing
now
up
I
old
can't
shit.
feel
You
the way
bringing up
I'm
old
feel.
shit.
Right. I can't feel the way I feel about finding out something. That's so crazy. So that's why for me, please let me know then. Because if you don't want to talk about this shit 2 weeks later when I find out, now you don't want to talk about it, you want to downplay it, that's not fair to me. You telling me I need to shut my damn emotions off because the shit happened 2 weeks ago, but I'm just now finding out about it. I don't like that either.
I'm
So,
gonna tell
yeah.
you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story. It's not gonna do me no good. It's gonna be a bad thing for me. But y'all deserve
my
this, people. Y'all
God.
deserve this transparency. So I get married, and I'm emailing this chick that I used to know and used to mess around with. But I swear to God, it's just emails. It ain't nothing on nothing. And the good thing is, the great thing is, that's what the emails were saying. Regular stuff, whoop de whoop, this whatever, right? But of course, I'm not checking in to tell you all the people I'm emailing, and that I still, got this girl number or none of that. I'm not doing all that. Doesn't even make sense to me. But everybody, marriage and relationship is different. Anyway, I ended up getting got on that, and it was a big deal. Oh, man, big deal, and I survived it. Let's just put it like that. Do you know? 11 years later, an argument occurred, and that shit it wasn't even about her. Like, I don't even talk to her no more. I don't even talk to her no more, right? And it was about something else. And she was like, just like when you was getting the emails from that hoe. Like, what? And I was so confused because I had completely purged that. Like, I had already survived that one.
But remember
in the
what you
beginning.
said. People remember how you make them feel.
God,
That is so hard to just sweep up under the rug. I swear it is. So, and and for a woman, if it relates, if just a little piece of it relates to that feeling of something that you did that was similar to that, it's gonna come back up. Because that's how I felt.
You don't do the transparency. And this is why, if I'd have been transparent from the jump, like, hey, I'm emailing an old chick I used to mess around with, it would have been like, for what? For who?
Exactly. Exactly. And it probably would have been shut down then. And
Right.
it wouldn't have been brought up with nothing else. Because there was a different feeling. Like, hey,
Right.
what you doing that for? And then you were like, oh, okay, well, I ain't know it wasn't cool, but okay. That's
Right.
done. And it would have been over with. It just depends, like I said, depends on who you in a relationship with, you know how they are, and you
I
don't have to be
think that so
transparent about everything. I agree.
but see, once again, understanding the line there and understanding the threshold, it takes years. It takes time.
It does.
And it never happens in the first, let's just say 3 or 4 years of that's why they call it the 7-year itch. It takes a
Mhm.
while to really get to know what's this person's buttons, what's this person's insecurities. Was because every woman is not overly expressive. They say men don't communicate, but women hold a lot of stuff close to the vest or act like it ain't
Mhm.
what it is. If you knew how many times I have come into this is not recent. This is the old us. I
Mhm.
come home and you can feel it. You can feel the shit. Hey, what's going on? Nothing. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. You like, oh, okay, you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, that's what's up. And man, a little while later, it's just blown out, right? And you like, so I had to come up with this thing. Hey, you have 30 minutes max to tell me what's up. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Because what can't happen is I asked you a question, you lied to me. Because I said everything good. You said yes. And then 2 hours later, we going through this, and you like at work they was tripping and blah blah. Whoa, you should have don't blind, and that's one of the rules. Don't blindside me. I understand life outside these four walls is gonna be hard on you. It's damn sure gonna be hard on a black man. So when I come in, I got it. We always start with how was your day? What happened at work? Then you tell me about work and traffic, and then we go from there. So I know where the baseline is. Today it was hangry. Me and the baby. We like I said, they messed up my order at Chick-fil-A. They gave me 2 strips. They were supposed to give me 3. I was like, so you gonna call them? I am after I finish eating. I'm hungry. Me and the baby was like, whoop. Whoop. Do it for the evening. Like, we're not gonna test these waters. We're not even gonna test these waters. Why is a grown-up hungry like that? With money. There's no way we do too well for you to be starving like this. This is poor management on your part. But instead of saying all that and being transparent, instead of me being transparent, I did the orange juice Jones and I chilled. So I just believe that you have to be prescriptive and decisive. You have to show discernment when it comes to oversharing and over communicating, because not everybody can absorb your perspective of the situation. They see it the way they would. Somebody like I'll say, if it was me, I would have. It wasn't you, and you weren't there. So you have no idea what everybody say. Everybody tough. Nobody get the hint until the weapons is drawn, right? Everybody tough until it's time. And so women are so emotional too, in my experience, that you just don't want to draw in that level of emotion to what is a real sterile situation. So many things happen in the day that's nothing to me, or so many things happen in a woman's life and in my relationships in the past, they describe it something. I'm like, what the fuck? Who cares? That woman doesn't affect your check. That woman doesn't. It's a woman. I mean, if she say one more thing, I'm gonna punch her in the mouth and lose your job and go to jail. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Somebody saying something? Like, why are you giving this person that much power? But I've learned to just listen and be like, she better watch it. Yeah, because she don't know where you're from. So now you gotta figure it out. But the transparency on her end would be, I feel inadequate at my job. And when she says stuff and challenges my role, I feel like I'm less than, and that infuriates me. But what it comes out is, this bitch is always in other people's business and don't really know what she's talking about. So if women were transparent, it wouldn't be so much going on. But I can't go by what you mean. I can only go by what you say. And unfortunately, women have words that mean something different than what is in the dictionary or the thesaurus. And you have to try to figure out and understand where she's coming from. And if women were ultimately very transparent, I can tell you, men don't want that. I don't give a damn about all this stuff you talking about. I could care. Let's just get to the gist of the story. What do you need me to do? How do we fix this? What is the solution? I don't need to know how it all got here. And so in the situation with her, look, this woman started off with her dude was going to dinner with somebody else, period. It wasn't somebody else, just one woman, and it was a situation where she kind of liked him. It was a group of people, and it just happened to be a woman there, period. There's going to have to be other people there. There might be a woman that's there on the hunt for a married man, period. I can't report back to you every little thing that occurred. What I have to ask of you and beg of you is that when I'm not with you, I'm representing us. And when you're not with me, you're representing us. And either that's good enough or it's not. Because once it turns into a situation where you misrepresent us, like your guy did with this old woman, this cougar, like your man did with this cougar, he misrepresented what you thought y'all was. But unfortunately, time told you that he thought y'all was something different. And so I'm glad that it worked out. Like, you can't imagine your husband now, you going and driving around. You're not even doing that. You're not even driving through parking garages and got your spy, your damn trench coat on and doing all you're not doing. You're not even doing that. We'll deal with this when you get home. If I have a question, I'm going to ask. And either you, and that's where the transparency isn't even important. That's where the trust comes in. I ask a question and you either tell me or you don't. And then we move on. And eventually, like you said, it's going to come to the light. You're going to get caught, or something going to happen. And then I'm going to say, wait a second, that's not what you told me, or that's not what you led me to believe. Why are you doing that? And now we need to get down to the nitty gritty. But this idea of getting in your head and thinking you're going to catch a motherfucker up, or you trying to be a reality show in real life. And that's the depravity of a lot of relationships, is they want the drama and the sensationalism and the pettiness and all of that. And that's not built for a long-term relationship. Talk to anybody who's been into a relationship for a very long time and is very successful, and they found ways to remove and evacuate all of that petty, all of that deception and all of that. And they have great conversation, but they don't talk about empty calories. And I believe sometimes the transparency that woman was describing, who was all there and how much did you drink and who brought who, that's empty calories. That's not making us stronger or having more energy in this love at all. And unfortunately, and I'm not saying men ain't like that, because some insecure dudes, like I said, if she was a dude, she would have come off as controlling, domineering, and damn near abusive. I need to who all there when you out there. You know what I'm saying? I need you to FaceTime me while you there and turn the phone around. That type of shit. We just got to be mindful and careful of how we present things, because relationships are about learning to relate. And so I get what you were saying. It's just tough. It's like, damn, that's a lot on brothers to have to navigate those waters. But I appreciate you being unapologetic. And it is what it is. You like, shit, women have things in their head and they need to be massaged. They need to be spoken through. Yeah. But we just got to figure out what's the best way to handle it. And I think that, to say my point is that less is more sometimes if you're working with a smart person. Now, if you're working with a dummy, it's going to take more words. That's my point. What is your final point for these people, these good people, to know as we get out of here?
My final point is there is no transparency without trust. Trust comes first. You should focus on the trust. And that's how all relationships should be built, with trust first. I mean, you start with trust, it ends with trust. So that's how I am.
It's just to put a pin in that. Trust is not something we just put a plan together for. Trust is a natural thing that occurs and is reinforced over time. So if you think, hurry up and trust me, that's not how trust works.
No. You have to start with trust, right? It takes time, but when you start dating, you got to trust that the person you're dating is, because you picked that person, is the right one for you. Right. And we're going to build on this. You can't start it out with, I need you to tell me everywhere you're going and what you're doing. I need to know every move you make. It's not going to work. Right. Until I trust, it's not going to work. You should start it with trust unless they show you something different, but it should be trust all the way, so yeah.
That's it. That's what trust is about. So trust over transparency. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This concludes another episode of the Hollow Points Podcast, where we act as your therapeutic outlet on topics many think about but are afraid to speak on.
Oh, you're welcome.